was kissing you with my eyes open, but you said keep them closed.
What's up, guys? Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, Steve Buscemi. Today I have Chinese food. I have so much food. Don't get used to this, guys, because I don't know why I have all this food. But I have beef and broccoli and vegetable lo mein. So today we're going to be talking about Heathers. I was having a lot of trouble figuring out what show I should do this week. People saying that the Glee cast is cursed. But then I was thinking, like, maybe that's happened in like other shows or other things. But it got me thinking about the whole Heathers thing, that a lot of people think that Heathers the movie is cursed. And I was like, why don't I talk about Heathers the musical? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. So first bite. I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten anything and it's like 4. Heathers the musical starts with a girl named Garnica, and she's kind of like upset, and she is kind of sick of her town, sick of her school, because nobody gets along, everyone's mean. So she starts talking about how, how much she wants to leave. And I relate on a spiritual level. So Veronica Sawyer, starts talking about Martha Dunstock, who's like her friend. And then she talks about Kurt and Ram, who are these jocks in her grade. She talks about the Heathers, which are 3 girls in her grade, who are all 3 of them named Heather, and they're really popular. And while she knows that the school and the town is all horrible, they seem to like not be bothered by it. So So Veronica is in the bathroom with the Heathers. Now the Heathers are Heather Chandler, which is the main one, Heather Duke, and Heather McNamara. This teacher, Miss Fleming, she comes in and she's like, why are you guys not in class? Why y'all throwing up in the bathroom? That's weird. And then they are kind of scrambling because they are supposed to be in class, but Veronica is very good at forging people's writing. She just scrambles something on a piece of paper, hands it to Miss Fleming, and she's like, we're out on yearbook. It looks legit, so she believes her. So then Miss Fleming leaves, and the Heathers are like, well, she covered for us, she's really good at forging. So then they're like, who are you? What's going on? What's happening? And then Veronica is like, let me tell you something, I need to get through this so I can get to college, and I am 2 seconds away from chucking myself out of a window. All I need is I will forge what you want. She's like, I can do detention slips, to get out of detention. I can do to get out of class using my forging talents. All I ask is that you hang out with me, cool by association. People stop bothering her. She just skates through her last year. And the main one is I guess. So then they give her a little makeover. And Martha Dunstock, her friend, when she gets a makeover and she comes back to school, Martha's like, so she's like, Veronica, what is she doing hanging out with Heather's? And then Veronica's like so excited. She's like, I'm so cute. People are gonna leave me alone. Like, I'm a bad bitch. And so she gets really excited. So then all four of them are friends, the Heathers and Veronica. Oh, and I forgot to say, but this is all like 1989. So keep that in mind. So while they're all at school, Heather Chandler finds out that Martha Dunstock, has a crush on Ram. Because Martha and Veronica are friends, when Heather asks her to forge a letter from Ram, like telling her that he likes her, that he wants to date her, she starts feeling really, really bad, because obviously she doesn't want to do that, because she wouldn't want to do that to Martha because Martha's nice to her. So she does it, but before Heather can get Ram to give it to Martha, she feels bad, she takes it back. And the Heathers, especially the main one, Heather Chandler, is like, we've been so nice to you. You were nothing. Now you're popular. You're friends with us. You're the one who said, oh, I'll forge things for you if you just are my friend and make this year easier for me. And now all of a sudden you don't want to do that? Like, that was the whole point. That's the, you know? So the letter gets to Martha, and Martha thinks that it's true. And this new, like, mysterious, sexy-ass guy named JD comes, and he's like, hello. I don't know. And then he, like, basically calls Veronica out for betraying her friend. And when Ram and Kurt see them talking, they get kind of jealous. They're like, who is this new guy talking to the pretty girls in our grade, taking away our women? And so they go up to JD and they try to, like, pick a fight with him, and JD starts fighting with them and he beats them up. And Veronica's like, I dropped lo mein on my knee. It was so sticky. That rhymed. So yeah. So back at home, Veronica's parents are like, whatever happened to Martha? Like, why are you friends with these hoes? They kind of suck. And she's like, I mean, did they lie? So then Veronica and the Heathers are going to a party. So on their way to the party, Heather's like, let's stop by a 7-Eleven. You pick me up some crap. Thanks. And so Veronica goes into the 7-Eleven and she sees JD. And so he's there and they start, like, bonding. She's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I love this place because my family moves around a lot. It's just me and my dad. My dad owns, like, this big business where they, like, bulldoze buildings and stuff. So we move around a lot from town to town. And the only, like, constant in my life has been that every town I've been in maybe doesn't have the same malls or restaurants or places, but they always have a 7-Eleven. So his 7-Eleven is kind of like his safe point for him as he moves around. So then they get to his party. It's Ram's homecoming party. And Veronica gets wasted. She's, like, not in the right state of mind, but she's having a good time, you know, all of them are. And then Martha shows up because, you know, she thinks Ram likes her. And so the Heathers are like, I have an idea. We should make a piñata that looks like her and then get her to like hit the piñata and like hit herself because the piñata is going to look like her. And then Veronica finds out and she gets like super upset because she feels bad for Martha. So she tells Martha, she's like, you need to go. Like, I need you to leave. Like, they're not your friends. They don't like you. They just want to bully you. And Martha's like upset that this is happening. So she leaves. And then Heather Chandler is like, what are you doing? Like, you ruined the whole point. Like, the whole point of this was to like just laugh and have a good time. And you always have to like be a buzzkill for everything and always think about Martha and not think about us, and we're your new friends. So while they're arguing, Veronica, from drinking so much, throws up on Heather Chandler. And Heather Chandler is like, what? And so she threatens Veronica. She's like, when we come back to school on Monday, you're done, sis. Like, no one's gonna talk to you. You can transfer schools. You can move to another continent. Your life is over. And then Veronica's like, ah, shit. So then she's just walking away. Hello? She's just going home and she's like, I'm going to die. The whole point of this was that I would fly through until I get to college super, super easily. And now that's not going to happen because Heather and the Heathers and all the popular people at the party and everyone, no one's going to talk to me. So I'm going to go right back to how I started. So she's really stressed out. And then she's like, you know what? If my life is over, I'm going to spend the last weekend before my life goes to crap again getting Shrek. She finds JD's house. She climbs through his window and he's like, hello? And she's like, let's play a little game just between you and I. She's like, let's go, cutie. Let's do this. He deflowers her. They do the devil's tango. And then the next morning she wakes up and she's like, I can't go back to school and have it be how it was before again. I just can't. And so then she's like, okay, I'm gonna go to Heather Chandler's house, beg for her forgiveness, and hopefully, like, that's the best I can do. So since she's with JD comes with her. They go into Heather Chandler's house because she knows, like, how to get in. And she's like, let me make her, like, a hangover cure because she's drunk like I am. And then maybe, like, that will get her to forgive me, like, more easily. So while she's making hangover cure, she's making it in a cup, and then he in another cup that's, like, pretty much identical, and they both have tops. He's like, why don't we just give her, like, drainer fluid, I think it is. And then he, like, puts it in the cup. And she's making another cup, obviously, the hangover thing, and she's like, haha, you're so funny. And so then she's doing that one, and there's the other cup that has the drainer fluid, and she grabs the right one, and then he kisses her, and then she grabs the wrong one. And then JD like looks down, he like realizes, and he's like, Veronica. And Veronica's like, yeah. And JD's like, never mind. And so then they go into Heather Chandler's room, and Veronica's like, I'm so sorry, like, please forgive me. And Heather Chandler's like being super, super mean. She's like, go on your knees and begging for my forgiveness, bitch. Like, she's just being hella rude. And so they give her the hangover like cure or whatever. And JD, knowing that it's not, Veronica thinking that it is. So Heather Chandler drinks it and she dies. And Veronica's like, and JD's like, and Veronica's like having a stroke. Obviously, because she just killed someone. And she's like, so I just killed someone, like, that's a little bit rough. And then she like starts freaking out. She's like, oh my god, I just killed someone, I'm going to die. And then JD's like, no, I have an idea. And Veronica's like, what? And JD's like, okay, so I know you're good at forging stuff, and you've been friends with Heather Chandler long enough to know probably how to forge her handwriting, right? And she's like, I guess. She has a copy of like Moby Dick, so write like a suicide note, and we can like make it seem that she's like depressed and that she committed suicide and it wasn't anyone else. And so she's like, okay. And then she starts forging a suicide note, and they're making it seem like she was like, oh, everyone thought my life was so perfect because I was popular, but like it wasn't. I was really upset and all of this stuff. I wanted to give back to a community, like I loved people, but like no one saw the real me, so now I have to leave. So the police get the suicide note when they get to the scene of her being dead, and they're like, oh, she committed suicide. And then the school finds out about the suicide note, what's on it, like they have the note now. The school now has the suicide note, and everyone's like, oh my god, I didn't know she felt this way, like I feel so bad, like we all thought that she was such a heinous bitch. So Miss Fleming is like, the school has gone through such an ordeal. We should cancel school for a little bit. But before we cancel it, everyone should just talk about the letter and everything, and yeah. Veronica tries to get over it, but she gets like tormented by the image of Heather Chandler. Like every time she does anything, she like imagines Heather Chandler there, like, hello. The two Heathers that are still there, like Heather McNamara and Heather Duke, call her and they're like, save us, because Kerr and Ram are like drunk and they're basically trying to assault us. And so she comes, and basically they called her there so that they could lock the door of their car, and instead of bothering them, they can now bother her and like try to assault her. And Veronica's like, friend goals. And so she gets them to stop and all of this stuff, and she just like frolics away. She's like, bye bitches. Oh my god, I'm gonna take a little break because I feel like I'm gonna explode. Not a break from like the video, but I'm gonna wait till I eat something else. Like further along into the story because I'm gonna die. So Heather Duke, when they go back to school after this whole ordeal at like the park where this was happening with Kurt and Rem and everything, Heather Duke is like, I'm gonna be the new Heather Chandler. So she becomes Heather Chandler. Like, she before wore green, and Heather Chandler always wore like red, and then Heather McNamara was yellow. But then she assumes like the color red, and she's like, I'm the boss now, bitch. And while this is happening, Kurt and Ram tell the whole school that at the park they had a threesome with Veronica, even though that's not true. Now because of this, everyone's like, oh my god, Veronica's such a floozy, a harlot, a whore. And so to defend Veronica, JD like tries to beat the jocks up like he did in the beginning, but they obliterate him this time. They beat him up. So because of this, obviously there's a huge rumor going around that isn't true. So Veronica gets upset. And JD's trying to console her. So then JD has a plan. He's like, you know what? My family, I think his grandfather it is, has these fake guns that they use in World War II. And they have E-Klug bullets. And it's like a tranquilizer basically. So you shoot and it looks like the person is shot, but they're fake bullets. They just tranquilize them for a little bit and then they wake up. But we could put another suicide note, because you know their handwriting too, and we could say that they're like gay lovers and that they feel like, because they live in like Ohio, I think it is, that no one will accept them, so they need to like end their lives. But then the E-Klug bullets are just tranquilizers, so they're gonna wake up. And then when they wake up, everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, you guys are gay lovers. And then they're gonna be roasted and toasted and their lives are gonna be ruined. So Veronica gets them to go with her to like a park, because she's like, oh, you guys are like lying about us having a threesome and you guys know that. But like, now that I think about it, like I kind of do want to have like a three-way with you. I want a three-way. Tell me why. I'm sorry. So obviously they come because they're guys. And so they go and she's like, all right, on the count of three, we get frisky. And so she's like, 1, 2, and then at 3, JD pops out, shoots one of them, I think Kurt, and Veronica's supposed to shoot the other one, Ram. So she shoots, he shoots, JD gets him, and Veronica misses. But JD's like, crap, like, I'm gonna go get him because you missed, so I'll be back. So he goes, and she's like, why is he so incessant? Like, I think the plan should still work. People are still gonna find this letter and one of them tranquilized, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, they wanted to kill themselves. Like, she realizes that Ram is dead. And then she's like, oh shit, like these are real. And then while she realizes that it's like real, JD gets Kurt, and then they're both dead. So after this happens, she's like, they're dead though. And he's like, I worship you, I love you so much. And she's like, That's the end of Act 1. Now Act 2 starts, and Veronica's like freaking out because a funeral is happening for Kurt and Ram. And while like that's going on, she's like, I'm literally going to hell. So at the funeral, the dads of Kurt and Ram talk about like how they still love their sons even now, finding out that they're gay. And then it's exposed that they're gay and that they have like a secret love affair. I'm getting full. JD thinks that like the murders that him and Veronica have kind of like did are for the greater good of the world. So he's like, I know who we killing next. Heather Duke kind of annoying me, so maybe we should kill her. And then Veronica's like, you know, the only thing is that no. So then he tells Veronica that he saw his mom commit suicide, and like she figures like that's why he's kind of weird, like this has really affected him. So she basically gives him like a choice. She's like, either you keep killing everyone or you just stay with me and we can just be normal teenagers, have a lot of fun, be a cute couple. But if you keep like doing stuff like this, I'm not going to be with you anymore. And he chooses her, Veronica, while Veronica's like having like the vision that Heather Chandler's ghost is there, like she often does during the musical. And Martha's like, I don't think her and Ram like killed themselves, like I don't think they were gay. And Veronica's like, what makes you think that? She's like, because I got a love note from Ram before he died. That's why I went to his party. And he like was telling me that he like loved me. So like he couldn't have been gay. Like I think that they were murdered. Heather Chandler's voice is like, tell her the truth. She's like, I wrote that note. The Heathers told me to write it and I wrote it. So he doesn't love you. He didn't love you. I made it all up. And then Martha, of course, is like really upset because her and Veronica like used to be friends before all of this was happening, and she still probably assumed that they were friends. So the guidance counselor, Miss Fleming, decides to have like an assembly because of all like the horrible tragedies the school's been having. She tells people to talk about how they feel, like their depression, their anxiety, the fears that they have. Heather McNamara is like, I've thought about killing myself. And Miss Fleming is like, talk about it. And Heather Duke is like making fun of her. She's like, don't talk about it. Like, why are you depressed? This is a nice school. Like, just started talking about how, you know, her best friend is dead. 2 guys that she was friends with, one of whom she had like a thing with, were shown to be gay and like in love with each other, and now they're dead. Which is like a valid reason for her to be scared and want to die herself. So Heather Duke, with a bunch of other kids, is like, why are you thinking like this? Like, yeah, this is like sad things to happen, but this school is a nice place. Like, you're making us look bad. Veronica's like seeing all of this, and she just like kind of like goes nuts. She's like, I'm so upset. Like she just starts yelling and rambling. And then at the end of her rambling, she's like, they didn't kill themselves. I killed them. Everyone's like, and then Heather Duke is like, really? You're going to make this up for like popularity now that no one really cares about you? And Veronica's like, but is that what I'm doing? No. Heather McNamara is depressed because everyone's making fun of her, even though she just wanted to share how she was feeling. So she goes into the school bathroom and tries to kill herself, but Veronica stops her. While Veronica's like in the hallway, she sees JD with a gun. She's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to get her to want to kill Heather Duke again, even though he talked about it already and she made it clear that she didn't want to. So then she realizes that no matter how many times she's going to be like, choose between me and this craziness, he's going to say her, but he doesn't really mean it. So she leaves him for good. JD blackmails Heather Duke into getting the whole school to sign like this paper. They think they're signing for like some stupid thing, but it's actually not, but we'll get to that. Martha, depressed about everything that's going on, jumps off a bridge and tries to kill herself. She survives. And then Veronica hears about this. She's like all upset. She goes home. Her parents are like, this guy, like he says, like he's like your boyfriend or whatever, JD, he came and he was saying that you want to kill yourself. Like, should we talk about this? She goes into her room, and JD goes into her room through the window like she did when they got freaky. And then he goes through her window and she runs into the closet and locks the door. And he's like, got all of these people to sign this petition. They think it's like for some crap. It's actually because I'm planning on bombing up the whole school, having it all explode, and then having this paper be the only thing that survives, And then when the police come and they think that someone bombed up the whole school, they're gonna see that the school made like a packed suicide, all of us together. And Veronica's like, oh God, no. He's like, I still love you, like I still want you to be like part of this. He's like, all right, bet I'll just break in. And so he busts into her closet and sees Veronica like hanging, and then he leaves to go do it. Veronica's mom comes in and she's like, ah! And then Veronica's like, no, shh, like it's a little prank, like I didn't actually kill myself. Meets him in the boiler room under the school because she assumes that's where he's gonna have like all the stuff that's gonna blow up the school. They get into a little bit of a tussle. JD gets shot. So Veronica is like trying to figure out how to disarm the bomb, like how to make it stop, and she can't. So she has an idea. She like takes it off wherever it was and she runs into the football field with it, holding it, like so that when it blows up it kills just her. And then JD, even though he's been shot, he like crawls out of the school and sees her, and he's like, you know, I've done a lot of bad things, I'm a horrible person, but I still love you and I need you to like still believe that I actually love you. So give me the bomb and I'll kill myself and you go far away, like I'll be the one who dies. And so then he grabs it out of like her hands and he goes far away from her, and she's like, can we like just talk about this, like put the bomb down, like maybe there's still like hope for you. He's like, no. And then it explodes and JD dies. She goes back into the school and Veronica's like, you know, all of you need to like be better people. And she takes the red scrunchie that used to be Heather Chandler's that Heather Duke took so that she could take over, and she's like, no more of this like crap, you know, let's stop bullying each other, let's stop all of this and just like be nice to each other until we leave, because like this is getting really old. And then that's the end of the musical. Heather's is so good. You can't eat this. You want to eat vegetable lo mein, you're literally a beagle. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are safe, happy. Thank you guys for spending this time with me. Bye.
You like jazz?